We are finally getting to the fun part here. What you see on my left screen is a web page emitted by a Raspberry Pi, which is sitting downstairs on my bench. And on my right screen over here, we're seeing sort of a debug trace from a program that's acquiring data from all the sensors and stuffing it into a MySQL database running on the Pi every minute. That's why I have that even minute tag. Here is the index file for the what we're seeing on the left. But we could do a number of different things over here. We can go to the camera, and just for fun, let me leave the Pi performance server down there on the lower right of its screen. So when we're not doing anything, it's really pretty not doing very much. We boost up to 7 or 8 or 10% of CPU right when we grab data, which we're doing every 5 seconds, filtering to reduce sensor noise and whatnot, and then stuffing in the database once a minute. If we start the camera, the video camera, this is full view, 25 something by 1900 something. The Pi gets really busy here. We're showing 88% and stuff like that. We stop the camera, all that processor load goes away. It's a really good camera, people. If you have a Pi and you don't want to play with the camera, you're nuts. It's one of the cool things about them. And we can do all sorts of fun things. And one of the nice things is I'm doing this. This is tight VNC up here, showing us the Pi's desktop without me having to be down there in the cold or in a funny place. This is eventually going over here in this basement somewhere or something like that, where it won't be fun to work on. So I set it up for a remote desktop, and we can do all sorts of fun stuff with the Pi. We can go boom, PHP info, and see all the stuff that PHP knows about this server, which is a lot of stuff. I'm not really a PHP guy, but that was one line of code, so what the heck. I'm really more into Perl. Here's a Perl CGI that we're running, and we can do a submit, and it will tell me what I submitted. 1 hour 3600 seconds. The test text is dummy, and there's a little cool piece of magic HTML in here. Right there, it's highlighted, or sort of highlighted. Here, get the whole line, which says meta space HTTPE dash EQUIV equals quotes refresh quotes space content equals quotes 60 quotes and the other angle bracket, and that causes this page to auto refresh every 60 seconds. And if we look over here at some point here, we will have been on this page 60 seconds, and it'll refresh itself without the submit, so we won't see the submit stuff when it happens. But this is now my dev environment, which, like I said, has the huge advantage of being able to be done from my couch, and we can do whatever we want on the Pi. There it did it refreshed, and now we don't have a submit anymore because that refresh doesn't generate one. And this is pretty much, you can do whatever you want to with the Pi here. Obviously doing things like dragging this around will cause, well, I don't know if we'll be able to do it and see it at the same time because I have this on auto hide, but we used up a lot of cycles because of tight VNC having to send an X desktop across the network. But that's okay. It's okay if it can be slow over here while I'm doing something over here and just using the network to push stuff back and forth. And then when the Pi is in a very inconvenient place, I can still do this. And of course we'll get rid of this debug trace. This will just be a demonized program that runs in the background forever and stuffs the database once a minute. One thing I didn't show you yet is we can also do phpMyAdmin on the Pi. It's a little slow because the Pi is actually running that end and we're just rendering it here. You look at the database and the table that we're actually using. I'm using one called testing right now because I'm testing. Bunch of these first few fields here are 0. We're keeping time in both local and UTC because we want to be able to do searches and we don't know what daylight savings time is going to do to hose us up later. Indoor temperature, humidity, outdoor temperature and humidity, basement temperature and humidity, which is actually sitting next to my wood stove right now. We have a thermocouple. This is the cold junction temperature. That's the regular thermocouple, which will be in the wood stove flue. Eventually, it's not right now. The temperature of the box the Pi is in, the barometer in hectopascals, the actual on-chip CPU temperature, and the uptime. And we're stuffing this in here once every minute, right on the money on the second, which is kind of cool to be able to do. And we've been running for a long time, so there's a lot of cells here. So to keep this short, I'll cut it now, but this is kind of a cool setup. And again, I'm able to do this from the comfort of my couch, which is way cool.